Hello there my friends, my name is Riskfish and I'm here today with another Warhammer 3 video. We already know there are 6 confirmed starting races for Warhammer 3 being Grand Cathay, Kislev and the forces of Nurgle, Slannesh, Tzeentch and Khorne. Since there are 9 lords total, it is therefore likely that each Chaos God will get one champion to lead them, and I believe that the Masque of Slannesh will be the representative for the Dark Prince. Let me explain why by using my theory on another of the starting lords. The first thing to point out is that the pieces on the campaign map clearly represent specific legendary lords. The blue piece, for example, clearly represents Serena Katerina of Kislev, as the piece's appearance mimics her crown and has the blue coloration she displays in the trailer. Grand Cathay on the other hand is ruled by the Celestial Dragon Emperor, and the green piece to the south is designed around a dragon. Based on this, it makes a lot of sense that the red Cornish piece would also be a representative of the legendary lord that will lead the Khorne forces, and the piece's appearance is that of a bloodletter with 2 horns and 2 tusks, which match a 8th edition Demons of Chaos Lord and Demon Prince Ozol Skulltaker. Not to mention that Skulltaker was turned into a demon by a bloodthirster seeking vengeance through rage, visually appears as a bloodletter and rides a juggernaut just like the Skull Crushers, showing a clear connection to all of the units shown in the Warhammer 3 trailer. There is also a clear theme of skulls. The piece has a face that, if you look closely, is very skeletal. The Khorne piece starts bordering the Road of Skulls province, and Skulltaker even has a magic item called, you guessed it, a Cloak of Skulls. Perhaps the biggest clue though is that the theme shown for Khorne in the trailer is Rage, and Skulltaker is literally Rage incarnate, not to mention that he has destroyed a city called Poe, which I believe is Cathayan in origin. It's never specifically mentioned where Poe is, but you can generally tell by the name it fits in Grand Cathay. He's also destroyed the Ogre Marrow Chewer tribe and challenged several Ogre Feastals, which shows that he's also been active in the Mountains of Bourne. He's also slaughtered the Tong tribe, which is also north of the Mountains of Bourne, so where the red piece is on the map is within the Skulltaker's area of activity. I also don't think it could be Skarbrand the Exile for 2 reasons. Firstly, he is hated by Khorne and has not been forgiven. No matter how much blood he has spilled in the Blood God's name, he is still exiled and hated by Khorne. To have an exile lead the forces of Khorne as a faction leader would not make a lot of sense. It would be like having Spartacus lead the Roman legions. The other is that, as mentioned before, the pieces on the table clearly represent lords, and Skarbrand looks nothing like the red piece, but Skulltaker, another 8th edition Demons of Chaos Lord, does. Finally, Skulltaker literally has the specific title of Khorne's Champion, showing that in the 8th edition Demons of Chaos Lords, he is easily the strongest candidate to be the leader of Khorne's forces. This is important because we can use this to figure out the Slannesh representative as well. The trailer sets the theme of Slannesh as obsession, which is a very specific part of Slannesh. Obsessive compulsive disorder, for example, can be classed as a type of obsession, but it certainly isn't associated with pleasure and other of the Slanneshi values. I therefore think that the 8th edition Demons of Chaos Lord, known as the Masque of Slannesh, the most favoured demonette, is a very likely choice. Firstly, what better candidate to represent obsession than existence that can literally only do one thing, dance for all eternity, resulting in the title of Eternal Dancer, with an obsession so great that it spreads to all those who see her performances. Secondly, as mentioned earlier, I don't think that the named greater demons such as Skarbrand will be in the launch because he is not the leader of Khorne's forces, not to mention that with 6 races, Warhammer 3 has enough selling points, and characters like Skarbrand, Nakari, Kugath and Pharos are DLC sellers just by themselves. Also note that the reason the Blood for the Blood God texture pack DLC is sold separately is to keep the age rating of the base game down, and CA is very sensitive with this part because it affects the number of people that can buy the game, and so affects sales and the money the company can make, because don't forget CA is a business. In the case of the Troll Hag, for example, they added modesty cups, probably for this reason, but how can you do that with Nakari, who is literally entirely like that and deals with some very sensitive areas? The best way would be to put him/her, it's a bit hard to tell with the Slanneshi demons, in a DLC and applied an age restriction only to the DLC rather than the base game. Not to mention that in the same way that Skulltaker officially has the title of Khorne's champion, representing Khorne's rage, and the Changeling has the official title of Tzeentch's trickster and represents the deceptive part of the Great Deceiver himself, even deceiving the other gods by the way and locking Khorne out of the Skull Throne, what a lad. The Masque of Slannesh likewise also shows an aspect of her god, with her dancers designed to depict the story of Slannesh himself, showing his past, present and future deeds. There is one final reason that the Masque of Slannesh is likely to be a starting lord, and that is that she is the only Slannesh lord choice in the Demons of Chaos 8th edition. N'Kari doesn't have rules in the 8th edition as far as I'm aware. And you have to bear in mind that the 8th edition is the primary source for CA when they are creating the game, and it even says so in their FAQ. This sadly brings us to the end of the video. Thanks very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed and I will see you next time.